Welcome back to Designing Case Files. My name is Robert, and today I'm going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about some model building. We're going to talk about breaking painting jobs up into smaller, bite-sized ideas, and I'm going to show you some examples. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'm going to dive right in. So I wanted to talk briefly about what I'm doing next. I've got so many things going on. I'm just going to show you just one little thing that I've got over here, and it's just a ton of boxes that I could be building and painting and putting together. All of these storage containers have tons of figures, and I've got all of these characters as well. And so I was starting to get a little overwhelmed. And so what I decided to do was break things down. First, we did all of the kill team characters that are on this platform here that we wanted to take care of, and that involved orcs, the Imperial Guard, the Angels of Death, the Rogue Traders, and the Sisters of Battle of the Novitiates. So after that was done, I was trying to think of another thing that I could break out and make the whole process smaller. Effectively, how can I cut down on the amount of overwhelming sense of dread it comes with having all that stuff I just showed you? And the answer to that was to do the combat patrols. So on this tray here, I've got everything that is necessary for both combat patrols for the Blood Angels. Um, it was not too hard to put it all together. I owned both, but the funny thing is that the way I built the incursors made it difficult to identify them. Today, I managed to get them all primed and ready to go. I thought I had more characters done than it turned out I did. In this case, I've basically got the aggressors, the vehicle, and this one sergeant guy here. All the rest have to be done. But I did get some Retributor Gold to make the Sanguinary Guard a little bit easier to paint overall. Now, these characters are part of the newer Combat Patrol, and all this stuff is the older Blood Angel Combat Patrol. So, shouldn't be too big of a deal to paint these up. I am a little disappointed. I primed these characters before I even thought about using Mephiston Red. So, all of these guys that have been done red are super fast. Like I can do one of these in about 15 to 20 minutes because they're not that complicated. I'm just trying to make them battle ready. Whereas when they have gray or black, it obviously takes a little bit longer since I have to coat them red first. But that said, this is the first stage of getting combat patrol done. I figure once the combat patrol is all painted and ready to go, then at least I'll be further along towards my need to do the bigger game armies. So that's what comes next. Now, over here, I've got the majority of what it takes to do the Sisters of Battle combat patrols. Now, the cool thing is that both combat patrols use 10 battle sisters. So I just have to base these guys. I was actually shocked to see that I had done exactly 10. It does require some arcoflagellants. It requires 3 for the original combat patrol and 10 for the newer one, which I picked up. So I've got the 10. I just have to build them. And I figure I'd do that when I got closer to being done with the rest of this stuff. The other thing I needed for the new combat patrol was this canoness, the specific canoness for that combat patrol. I picked her up, so she'll be ready to go for it as well. The canoness for the original combat patrol is right here, and she's super cool. Ready to go. Now, most of the time, I prime these guys black because um, most of their outfits are black, and the red goes over black very easily. Obviously, these characters here are gray because it's mostly skin. So there's also 5 Repentia in the original set and 5 of the Seraphim. So we're pretty good on this one. I just painted this tank the other day. I'm very, very proud of it. I love it. It's so cool. It was a lot of fun to do, and I thought it would be very difficult, but it turned out to not be. So just took a lot of time and patience, but I'm very glad we did it. So after I get this combat patrol done, or these two, I should say, then my sister's army will be well and truly on the way. I'll just have to do an absolute ton of battle sisters. I think I've got 20 or 30 more to take care of, and I got a whole bunch of other characters as well. Definitely be ready for boarding actions on both of these fronts. So that's something for me to look forward to. I'm very excited. But I'd like to really talk about that for just a moment, breaking things down like this, trying to make them bite sized. Because when it comes to having a pile of shame or potential, however you want to call it does get to the point where it feels like you might never get anything done. And fortunately, they have some choices that allow you to um, at least feel like you're making progress, such as if you're doing Age of Sigmar, you could do a spearhead, or if you're doing this, you can do kill team and then combat patrol. And I kind of felt like it was a natural progression. Kill team, combat patrol, full on 40K. But anyway, that's what I'm doing in this area here. I think it's pretty cool. And so if you have any thoughts about that, if this is how you go about it, or if you have another way of biting off, reasonable chunks of your armies to paint and stuff, let me know. I'd love to incorporate your theories into mine. But yeah, that's it for the combat patrol talk. I wanted to just do a quick video to talk about the instructions for Fulgrim. And I've got something else to show you at the same time. But ultimately, I was looking through these and they're pretty simple. And they also remind me a lot of Marathi. If you've ever built Marathi for Age of Sigmar, which is this is what she looks like, you'll have some notion of what to expect. It's same with the snake from their endless spells for the Daughters of Cain. They really like to start you off building the tail, as you can see. It's always about the tail. And there is no exception here. You're going to be building his tail pretty much from the very beginning. We're going to start it all off. The whole first page is to get that tail done. Now, I'm not going to build Fulgrim for a little while, mostly because I don't have anywhere to put him right now. And also, when I do, I want to jump in and paint him right away. So I thought I could talk about the instructions and just look through them really fast on camera. And if there's anything that I see here that might help, then we can talk about it. But so far, it's all very straightforward. It's just going to take a lot of patience to get this tail to work. As you can see, when it coils around and then comes back up, that's when we're going to have some of the more structural issues where you're going to have to let things dry so that they don't fall apart. But they've done a really good job of providing you with a lot of foundational strength, being that you have both sides here and then these two come in and are going to contain that body. Once you're finished, it's going to look like this over here, where we put him pretty much on his base. He's going to have his body ready to go. He's coiling up like that. And then we come down and start building the body itself. Now, this is what I really like. When they start doing these kinds of builds is when you build the body separately. We're giving this time to dry, and we're building this separately. We're giving him his gear. We're starting with his second sets of arms. All of this very easy and very much like what you would expect from building any other model without a tail. So moving on, we get to the point where we're going to put um, like his shoulder pads and get his head neck piece on there, some cloth. This stuff will probably be a little bit more challenging because as you can see, it's kind of lengthy and it's going to be heavy. So we're going to have to be patient when we glue that on and let it dry for a little bit just before we, try to manipulate around. Now, this is what it looks like when it's done. You'll have the cloth in the back. This is going to go over the snake body. The snake body is going to come up in here. We've got a whip, a couple swords, a claw, we're going to come over here and take a look. You'll see that they've got another view, which is from the back, and we're going to see where the backpack is. Now we build the wings. Now, if you have watched me talk about wings before, then you know that wings can be a real pain, especially with the Krondis dragon I built, or quite frankly, any of them. I'll show you in just a moment, in fact. The wings tend to be going straight into the back, but here they give you a piece that will connect both sets of the wings to this. It's sort of a little backpack. That's going to make it a lot easier to get it on him when we've got this. As you can see, we've got the piece in the front, there's a piece in the back, and it really turns it into the backpack. And it's going to secure that piece very nicely so that now we have this and it's all one piece. So we'll have many more contact points than just these. Plus, when we let this dry nicely, it's going to effectively give this a lot more structural integrity so they're not falling off the whole time like they normally do. They show you lots of good pictures of it too. There's from the back, the front. We come down here and we're going to start building his hair, which is just madness, and his head. This is very much Daughters of Cain style, in my opinion. If you've seen them get built, then you know you got some choices on the face. It attaches to the hair and the horns. You could see sort of what it's going to look like there. And then we move on to the portion where we put the body onto the snake. Notice that we're not doing the wings until it's fully assembled. So we're going to put that on top there. It's going to come up and coil in this way. So he's leaning over his snake body a little bit. And then once that part is done, we're going to move over to here and we're finally going to put those wings on. And you see, it does look like there's only a couple of contact points. The four basically dots and then the middle part. I suspect it will actually be a little better than that, but we'll see. And then there it is. There's the wings on it. And then finally we come over here. We're going to put on the head. And as you can see, the hair kind of goes up over the backpack a little bit, which is kind of annoying in some ways. I would probably, actually, I'm going to mention that in a moment. So anyway, this is him all but done. We got to put on his little front piece. As you can see, it looks like a little wing. It's the Emperor's Children symbol, and voila, there he is, all done. And then, of course, they have a beautifully painted version of him as well. Now, what I was going to say before is that based on how this looks, this character might be a very good candidate for doing sub-assembly painting. Like, you might consider getting it to this point and then painting the snake body and then putting this on, and that way this cloth won't be in your way. And you might even consider, painting that whole body before you put it on the snake as well, just so that it's easier to contend with. And you might have the same with the wings. I mean, the wings could be a good thing. So I guess in a lot of ways, I'd consider painting it in at least several different stages. First, I do the snake body. Let's go to the real picture of him. So I would paint the snake body, this body, the wings, the head, and then I'd put them all together. I think that's how I would do it. I'm not sure that I will. I didn't do that with Marathi. I just completely assembled her and then I was done. But, looking at the head, it might be easier to get that done before you put it on, especially the hair. You're going to want to get behind it and stuff. So, this might be one of my first sub-assembly paintings, especially when you look at this picture here and you just see how much that hair is going to interfere with your painting. So you probably definitely want to paint all of this without putting on the head first. That's for sure. So I love their paint job on this. I think it's great. But anyway, let me show you some of those other models that I was talking about with wings really quick, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, this should give you a good idea of what I was talking about with the wings. Like in this case, this character's wings are pretty reasonable. They're behind that sort of decoration piece. So he's not so bad. But when you come over to this character, you see that the wings were just kind of crammed in there. And I probably should have sub-assembled her because I'm never getting behind those wings to do the backs of that hair. That probably doesn't matter, but that's a little frustrating. And then even this character here, while the wings go into the back separately and don't touch, they do just connect directly and there's no mechanism to help them stay in. So I just had to hold those for an extended period of time. More often than not, they look like this. I have other characters too, but there's only so much you really need to see before you get bored. So anyway, that's why I think that the Fulgrim character is probably a slightly better build when it comes to the wings than some of the other characters we've seen built more recently. But anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks very much for stopping by. This is Robert with Society Case Files, signing off.